Hi, my name is Divine, and I am part of the church council. There were a lot of conversations that we were having, and some of those conversations took a long time, and some of them were pretty short. But all in all, the conversations were what was important, because when we come together as church-wide, we are expected to have these really tough conversations, and I feel like if they're not being had, then we're doing something wrong. I don't think in these discussions everybody's going to walk away happy, but they are going to walk away having had a conversation about something that is from the heart and something that they had wanted to discuss, even if it's not necessarily the conclusion that they thought that they would have. I think what people need to do after having had these hard conversations is to talk to more people. It's really important to me that people have different perspectives, and I think it does help us when we are having hard discussions to have multiple perspectives so that you can understand one side and then you can understand your side, and then you can then explain to other people about how you feel about the side that you have chosen, or if you don't even have a side, about why you don't have a side and why maybe you're confused or you don't understand quite what's happening, because sometimes we can have discussions and it's like, I still don't know what's going on. So I think that's what I would want people to do, is to continue having these discussions. Yeah, so it really helps me to hear these discussions because I'm only one person and I'm coming from my own experiences. So when I get to hear these discussions being had, and the many people who are having these discussions, or even hearing discussions from maybe somebody who might identify a certain way, or from somebody who's from a different area in the country, or even hearing perspectives of people who are just new in the church, it really helps me understand, oh, okay, so this is why I'm part of the church council. I'm trying to understand all these perspectives and put them together and come up with the best decision that works for everyone. Were the discussions that we had after. I had a discussion with a certain individual, and it seemed like they were just like confused and even a little bit unsure why some of the discussions we were having were even being taken place. And what surprised me was that he was so open to having these discussions, even though some of the things that he might have been said could have been taken the wrong way. He still showed up and was able to ask those questions, was able to say, hey, I don't quite understand why this happened, or I don't understand why we discussed this, or hey, like, why is this still a problem? And I think having people who are willing to be open enough to say, hey, I really want to continue having this discussion. I think that's what is really great for the church. And that's what kind of surprised me, because I didn't expect someone to be so open and so upfront about being unsure, or even having more questions and being willing to just say them and ask those questions. So that's what surprised me. I think there are a lot of things that we individually can work on to understand one another. One of the things that I think we all could work a little bit more on is communication, and maybe being open to different perspectives. It's really easy to just kind of focus on what's going on in your own life, but it's even more loving and God-filled to be able to say, hey, I want to understand your perspective, and I want to be able to communicate in a way that is loving and understanding and all of these other things. But I think it all starts with being willing to communicate and being willing to say, I want to have this discussion with you. So that's one thing that I think that as a church we could work on still. Another thing that I think we could work on is being loving. I think it's easy to, I say it's easy a lot, but it is easy to just like kind of forget about other people's experiences or just judge someone based on how they look or what they've gone through and so on and so forth. But what we are taught in the church and what we're taught in the Bible is to be loving and love our neighbors and just try to do the best that we can to show that love to people. So that's the second thing that I think we could work on. I don't know what the third thing that we could work on is, but I'm sure that we all could work on something else as well. And I think it comes from maybe what's around you and what's really needed. Like if you're in a community that's not having these conversations or not having conversations at all about what's going on in the world and what's going on in the church, I think that's where we could maybe start having those conversations. If you're not really in tune with what's going on in the community, then kind of come up with something that helps you understand the community that's around you. And if there are a lot of people who feel misunderstood within your church or your congregation or just around you in general, even in your workplace, taking the time to say, hey, I want to understand why you feel this certain way. I think those are some of the things that we could work on, but essentially, I don't have the answers. I think it just depends on what's going on around you and what's needed. But it also takes that one person to ask, hey, what do we need? What do we need right now? So, yeah. Something that I would want people to know about the ELCA is that we're trying, which is so great because I think when we stop trying is when things get a little scary, in my opinion. And by trying, I mean we're trying to change. We're trying to change some of the things that the church might have done a long, long time ago, and we're trying to change some of those things that might not have been so great, and trying to reach out to those people that we hurt, or trying to reach out to communities that don't feel like we support them in this time. But I think that's what I love about the ELCA is that you can see that we're trying through the language that we have within our Constitution, and through the social statements you can see that we're also trying, and also through the way that we talk to people and we talk through things, you can see that we are trying. And those discussions are going to go so far, and they're going to help not just this generation but the next generation to come. And that's why I would say that's what I love about the ELCA.